Hello fellow hunters, JBizHunts here with a special video, my 10th Great One and the final chapter on my fallow deer grinds. After countless hours in the field, I've packed up my tents and my tripods, officially closing this hunt for good. In total, I've taken down 5,881 fallow deer, spawning 6 Great Ones along the way. It's been a long journey, but my final goal is finally here. In this video, I'll take you through the entire grind leading up to this last Great One. Let's dive in. I started my Great One Fallow grind the day they were released in June 20th of 2023. I set up my grind on Te Aroa since it's by far the easiest map for any fallow deer grind. I used herd management, and if you're interested in my full Te Aroa guide on how I spawned all 6 of my Great Ones, check out the link in the description below. The first grind was a long one, 2,541 harvests in total. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I was ever gonna get one. At the time, I was seeing people in the community spawning Great Ones in just 500 to 700 kills. It was crazy. But after 59 diamonds, 28 trolls, 6 piebalds, 1 albino, 4 melanistics, what do I see? The golden spoon rack finally appeared. I was really hoping for the Irish elk rack at the time. I love the concept behind the Irish elk rack, but either way, I had my first Great One fallow and I was ecstatic, and I really did think that the golden fur was one of the most beautiful furs with the yellows in it, and I was very happy to take down my first fallow Great One. A lot of creators talk about the second grind being really short, that once you spawn your first Great One, you should keep going for a few hundred more harvests just in case you have that same second Great One luck. I know on my red deer grind, I was able to spawn 2 Great Ones on the same rotation, so I was thinking, you know what, there must be something here because I was able to get that second Great One in under a kill. So I wanted to complete the Huddle Fallow Great One mount, and that requires 3 Great Ones. So I kept shooting, and sure enough, grind number 2 was lightning fast. I was so shocked at it. Just 94 harvests in that time, I only spawned 4 diamonds, 4 trolls, and 1 albino. This one was a fabled painted big rack, and I was shocked at how fast it showed up. It's still one of my favorite combinations to this day. The fabled painted fur type looks incredible, and I don't think many hunters would turn down a big typical rack, as it is said to be one of the more rarer racks that you can get for the fallow Great One. Now, my third Great One fallow grind was more of a typical grind. This was, to me, another short grind in a way, with just 577 harvests. This time I found 31 diamonds, 7 trolls, 2 piebalds to go along the way on this grind. At this point, I thought my fallow grind was over. I was ready to move on to whitetail or moose. Here was my third fallow Great One. But then I spawned another fabled painted big rack. Like, what are the odds of spawning the same identical deer 2 harvests in a row for your Great One fallow? I wasn't sure if this was crazy or I was just a sucker for punishment at the time, but having 2 of the same Great Ones in my Huddle fallow mount didn't feel right to me. So I set my sights on completing a second fallow multi-mount and moved on to grind number 4. This grind, again like my last one, was a pretty short grind by the stretch of things from Great One grinding. It was 653 harvests. It produced 30 diamonds, 10 trolls, and 1 albino. It seemed like there was a pattern forming on Great One grinds. And this time, I spawned one of the most beautiful Great Ones I've ever seen. It was the fabled mocha saw rack, and I spawned it on the river. At first, I wasn't sure how I'd feel about the inverted antlers, but with the mocha fur, it actually looked incredible. At this point, I had completed 1 multi-mount, and I was 1/3 of the way towards my second Huddle Fallow Great One mount. My 5th Great One grind caught me completely by surprise, as I really technically wasn't grinding. I know it's funny to say you weren't grinding when you spawn a Great One, But I had taken a break from fallow deer to focus on whitetail Great One grinding and moose Great One grinding, which, by the way, cost a lot of money. Moose require constant time resets, and whitetail, they really don't pay much, with the average harvest being around $1,000. So whenever I needed some quick cash, I'd return to my fallow grind and do a few rotations. And after just 260 harvests, 18 diamonds, 5 trolls, and 2 piebalds, my dream rack finally spawned, the Irish elk. Of course, in true JBizHunts fashion, it came with the fabled golden fur, which, I already had spawned, but who cares? This was my favorite rack, and with that, I had officially spawned them all. And side note, what is with floaters? Like, honestly, to have a floater for a Great One, like, who could write that into a script? But that's besides the point. But I still needed one last Great One to finish what I set out to do, and that leads us to the reason behind this video today. In October of 2024, I hit new game, resetting my fallow grind setup completely, and any other grinds that I was working on at the time, because I did have a whitetail grind and a moose grind on the go. I do love starting fresh, so finding initial spawn diamonds and rares is one of my favorite things to do, and the only way to get fresh maps is by pressing new game. But in the back of my mind, I knew that I had to return to the fallow grind and finish my ultimate goal of having 2 Great One huddle fallow mounts. So in January of this year, I rebuilt my setup on Aotearoa, determined to end this grind once and for all. I got my setup down to 14 solid zones, harvesting 14 deer per 15-minute rotation, 15 minutes of in-reel hunting. So I'd always set my clock to 12 p.m. and then hunt till 1 when drink time was over, and then I'd just reset the time. Everything was running smoothly, but 500 harvest turned into 1,000 harvest, then 15 harvest. The grind stretched into its 3rd month. I'm not a full-time creator here. I get to play 2 to 3 hours every couple of days, so I rely on herd management to make the most out of my time and make it count. This grind was honestly starting to get frustrating. In total, it produced 57 diamonds and 24 trolls, but only 2 rares. So I think that made this grind even longer, that it wasn't even producing rares. I got a small piebald early on and a solid gold albino, which is featured in this video. And after 1,756 harvest, the 6th and final fallow Great One spawned. But there's a huge but with this one. Just as my fallow grind began with the fabled golden spoon rack, it ended the identical way. Out of 20 possible combinations with 4 antler types and 5 fable fur types, I somehow spawned 2 identical clones. I mean, come on, this guy is perfect by all stretch and imagination. He spawned in a completely different location from all my other ones, and I had a perfect win just to sneak up and soak it all in, knowing this was my final Great One Fallow Deer. After 5,881 harvests in total, 199 diamonds, 78 trolls, 18 rares, I can officially say goodbye to the fallow grind, and this guy is just a perfect bookend. So, what did I learn? What can all these grinds do to help you spawn your Great One, or at least let you know what it takes, specifically with fallow Great One grinding? Here's what I learned that might help you in your grind. The average number of harvests per fallow Great One, using herd management of course, was 980. On average, 30 diamonds spawn before the Great One appears. 30% of my fallow diamonds are trolls, so they do troll 30% of the time. A rare fur type spawns every 326 harvests. So if you're grinding for a Great One fallow, expect it to be around 1,000 harvests, and that you're going to have to get 30 diamonds before you spawn a Great One. But remember, not every grind follows this pattern. If yours takes longer, just keep going. You'll get there, and hopefully you'll have one of these guys in your lodge before you know it. That's it for this one, fellow hunters. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It really helps get the channel out there for others just like you. For more Hunter Call of the Wild content, subscribe so you don't miss out. And as always, happy hunting.